Now here is Shoji. I've done this a few other times to little success, but let's see how this goes. Shoji is not just a hiver. He is a variant called the Dead Hive. Normally they are found over here in this region. But the game starts us over here as a wanderer, and we're just going to be playing along as if he had a lapse of sanity, because so it goes. Let's say he wandered over here, gained his sanity, and looted some dead, starving bandit, because these are the rags of one of those guys. Now he finds himself inside of the hub, trying to find and make his way. This series is actually inspired by Ambiguous Amphibian. Frankie was here. A few others right now, but I'm being rude and blanking on names because I'm trying to focus on making sure Shoji gets his first steps be good steps. I am playing with a few mods because why not? And I can link the list later if people are interested in fighting. But most of them are just aesthetic things, and a couple of others make certain recipes available, like making it so you can craft some of the higher level weapons, and craft things like ration packs. Sorry about that. Something stuck in my throat. Anyways, we need to get on the good side of these guys. And I've next to nothing to offer. 1/10 of their starting price of initiation. Oh, that's right. I was actually over here not for that, but items on the ground. Let's accelerate time a little bit. Almost as full as possibly can be, and still not even encumbered in the slightest. Now, though these things won't sell for much, they will sell for something, which is better than nothing. And I'll also clear up the clutter in the area, which will slightly improve the resources my PC can run this at. And I'm actually selling those items that he starts out with because, first off, they suck, and second off, they super suck. Super good reasons, I know. The other unofficial reason is that weight is an issue, and I want to be able to carry as many items as possible, including cloth items. Clothing items, for instance. Well, not many cats were made because I purchased those two basic first aid kits, but those basic first aid kits are required. Now Shoji can focus on grabbing, in my opinion, one of the better starting weapons, and that's going to require a little bit of running because they don't have it for sale here. I can check real quick to see if the other location over here has it, but no promises. Ooh, basic furniture and sabers. Sitting box, that's the one I want. That's going to be important for later. Though it was kind of expensive, and though I don't have no, that's great English. Though I have no food at the moment. Therefore, it would normally be a concern, but Shoji is a... Actually, no. Being a dead, however, he actually has a normal hunger rate. And because I also reinstalled the game recently due to some glitches and errors with the save ending in certain NPCs not even having weapons, I completely deleted all the local files and reinstalled all local files, so the body shapes for some of the people I like to use are also not available, which is disappointing, but so it is. Now, let's see if we can get Shoji there alive. A little bit of swimming. Let's see. Don't really see any other potential threats at the moment, but they could obviously creep up out of nowhere, as they do. Now, this was a bit of a trek, earning me a little bit of athletics and a tiny bit of swimming. I'm going to argue it's well worth it, because this weapon makes it so that I can train dexterity very well, and do a minimalistic amount of damage. It also is very much in character for him to have this weapon because of where he came from, considering that all of the Fog princes use this. Sorry. What am I apologizing to no one who's here? Cat was distract me. And while we are up here, we're also going to grab some of the higher value items that we can drag on back for sale. Because the way station is right there. A rusted junk ninja blade. 0.31 cutting damage, 0% blood damage. 1.1 blood loss. This is, I think, one of the lowest damage dealing weapons in the game, period. A lot of other people recommend the rusted junk Wakazashi. I personally don't like it as much because even though it's only a small amount of difference in raw damage, it's still enough of a difference that makes it so that I don't think it's a good idea. Some of these items will actually pick up for a serious liquor. For serious real building materials. Gears again, that's one of the items we want to grab and get out of here. Building materials, iron plates, those are two materials that we will need and need to make use of later. But if we pick them up and try to drop them now, they will disappear as soon as we leave the area and try to reload. Which is Can I pick up anything else? Yeah, the price difference is minimal, so it doesn't really matter which out of the two I pick up. There's no other items to pick up over here. I guess I can pick up the topper as well. Let's offer a chunk of change. 12 out of 16 as well, keeping the weight low. I wasn't even intending for that. Honestly, I was expecting it to weigh me down a significant amount. 700 and 1,000. That is not bad. Okay, now those two blades are actually weighing me down. 5 kilograms each, so a total of 10. And that's pushing the threshold. Now let's see if Shoji can get back over to the way station, sell all of this stuff, get himself a little bit of money to at least get himself a meat wrap so he can eat and fill his food, and then we can move on. My personal goal for this run is to make Shoji at least a semi-decent warrior with 85 in most of his combat stats. The important ones anyways, since he's going to be using katanas, he's going to be focusing on that. But I also want to level up his martial arts a little bit, just on the off chance that he gets enslaved and disarmed, because that is a possibility. Please stand by. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Not selling you. Now we have enough to at least pick up you. I like these because they give you exactly 15 nutritional units, and we don't have enough food cubes to warrant, I mean, I suppose we can just pick one up later. We do need one of these, though. This is our beginning of making money. And we're going to do the old school method, quote unquote, of mining copper. We could do thievery and stuff, but I like doing the thievery method of, or leveling up thievery against bandits and stuff. Do you have anything of interest? No. Show me your goods. Why not? Okay. I think one of my mods is making them act really silly way outside. I need to adjust them. I will do that before the next stream. And obviously do an import, so these guys aren't just randomly loitering outside like zombies. It's good to see that some of the people are inside. Who are you? Not interested. Moment. Now, as a hiver, I would normally be able to go grab Sadneo, one of the other characters in the game, without issue, but again, I am Dead Hive, and take acid damage, so that is not a immediately viable option. I need to go prepare for that, especially because I have less hit points than most of the normal creatures. So, in the meantime, we're going over to schooling. One of the reasons we're going to be investing in getting reputation up with the thieves, specifically. Where in the world are you going, Shoji? Is that really the only way? That was so silly. Anyways, it is because they have a sale option for a chest piece that is really good for him, because the normal hivers will not interact with him. And we're going to be going solo for his Not the entire run, but for a good distance of them. We want Shoji to be nice and independent. Found himself a wolf, but thankfully his run speed is pretty good, so he can get away from him. Didn't even take a bite. Welcome to school. Pudgy, yeah, well, he's deserving of that. He's not exactly very strong right now, but that will soon change. Oh wait, I didn't actually purchase the food. Well, I can do that here. Now, lo and behold, there are only Shek to hire here, so we're going to be avoiding that for the moment. If only because of the fact that my character already consumes enough food as it is, and he's going to be needing a lot of it, so we're going to be also again going alone for as long as we can. One of the first people. What? Oh. There we go. Super exciting. I'm going to calm down a little bit. Get his laboring skill up, because that's something I always like having done. It's always a good skill to have up, because when we will, get our base set up out in the wild somewhere, we will be doing so on our own, and we will be gathering most of the materials on our own. I don't really like to get into the habit of doing material runs to support the village, even though sometimes the Western Hive usually gives us... that's dangerous. Thankfully it didn't see me. It's one of the reasons I also have him sneaking right now, even though he's stationary. Swinging a pickaxe and clanging loudly on this copper node is evidently not loud enough to draw his attention, which is really nice. Why is that bone dog coming back? Yes, go with it. Do not wish to play with you right now. Do not want. Will hard pass, thank you. One of the things I also need to keep an eye out for is when combat happens from the guard. Ooh, like over here. Oh my goodness, this is the ticket of what I'm looking for. Looking for people to get their asses kicked, so I can sneak in. We have a whole bunch of hungry bandits. Let's get some first aid skill. Hopefully one of them will be released soon so we can work on our assassination and also getting our strength trained. We need a body on our shoulder, preferably a living one, but it doesn't have to be, to gain double XP. And honestly, as long as it takes to train that, it's just nice to have it go fast. Now split rigging is an option we can do. I suppose I could get the absolute bottom barrel samurai armor. It would technically count. Super cheap, no less. 1%, 2%. Wow. These cloth pants are really doing it. Because he is a bugman, he does not have feet, so he does not have the ability to wear boots of any kind. Well, with my current budget, I'm going to have to wait. Wait in mine. Alright, they're evidently already out, or some of them are, so I'm going to try and catch up to see what I can do about capturing one of them. You are the closest. Wow, first time. Look at that. That is phenomenal. I was expecting to have to do that quite a few times. Oh well, let's strip you naked, steal your stuff. It's not like you're gonna need it. What? Blue grade? That is unheard of. 1% in both blunt and cut resistance. That is a legendary drop. I have no idea how rare it is to actually see that. I would argue that's actually worthwhile to wear for 1 whole kilogram. You know what? I shall. She's just gonna have to deal with being naked. Because the Shek really, really care about some flabby human being naked. We can just pretend that it's Shoji being perverted. There we go. I've stolen goods in my inventory. Thief, you have just stolen from someone. Be careful when selling stolen goods. The traders, you might find yourself in trouble with the law if they catch you offloading their allies' belongings. I don't ever anticipate running into an ally of the starving bandits that I can sell things to. You know what, 98, I'm just going to sell it. I need money right now. I need every single last cat. Alright, so yes, Shoji is actually making gains in specifically strength. He's only at 58% encumbrance, and I say that despairingly because he needs to get all the way up to 71 minimum percent. Because that's when he gains a full 50%. Strength experience gain. That may sound bad, but that's better than the 25% experience gain you normally gain when you're just walking around with a heavy load. Which if you're doing NPC training, that's the best you can usually do, unless you find yourself trying to train a cannibal or something who will actually pick up bodies. That's aside, and much stuff for later. There's a reason why you'd want to train NPCs up specifically, and it's something I'll explain when we actually get to the point where Shoji's powerful enough to actually want to do that. Right now he is so weak that we're literally just scraping the bottom of the barrel to get his food needs taken care of. 66%, just standard. That's what we're looking for. There we go. He just ate his food. Come on. Hurry up. Snag it. 72. That is almost perfect. Amusingly enough, I don't even have to walk around that long because his strength is so low that he's going to gain enough strength to make it so that he's going to be hitting 70% almost immediately. But I'm still, there we go. I was going to say, I'm still going to wiggle my character back and forth along the ground in front of the front gate because the Shek will still act as quote-unquote guards, i.e. they will kick the crap out of everyone attempting to commit assault near their presence, which is very good for someone weak like me who can't even stand up to a goat or a single starter gambit. He is so weak it's not even funny. But we will change that. We need this crumbly, weak little bug man to be as strong as physically possible. As tough as physically possible. His physicality? Whatever the proper word is. He's we need to get this pathetic little body of his built up. I would argue at least 90 in toughness before we actually move on from toughness training. And that's going to be even more painful than normal because him getting knocked down is way easier. Actually, it could be easier than normal. It's not dependent, it is the fact that I should go grab some more food. Need to have some on hand so I can make sure that he gets himself a bite every single time he needs it. Oh, let Shoji go, go, go. Strength of 4. Come on, get up to 5. Do it. You can. Number go up. 80%. It'll climb so fast at these early levels. Later on, we'll be traveling half the map for just a single per. What is it? 10th, 100th of a percent. 100th, yes. 100th of a percent of a level. And we'll be excited and happy for it too, because when you get up to 99 strength, every single tiny bit makes a difference. Let's grab another chunk of iron real fast. Look at that, already 5 strength. One of the first thresholds we'll be reaching is around 66 strength, where he can wear the full set of heavy armor and carry someone without being encumbered if he doesn't have anything else on. 64, 68. I'm kind of personally torn between having him go out and attempt raiding ruins for valuable items, or having him go out and doing things the less dangerous way, because being as delicate as he is, I'd rather go safe and slow than high. You've literally been watching me run around in circles, but sure, go ahead and check my bags. I've got iron in my pockets, and that's about it. There we go, 70%. Mostly we're keeping our eye out for any groups of bandits, specifically the starving and or dust variety. The starving and dust bandits will basically kick the crap out of anyone on sight after a brief amount of verbal harassment. And it's never really worth it to try to gain favor with them, except for that it'll take them slightly longer to try to harass you for your items. Alright, we've got him to 10 strength, which is a good threshold to get started with. There's also 6 iron in his backpack, which is pretty decent. Let's get him some more copper. Kind of tempted to go risk something not super dangerous. Asterisk. So before we start mindlessly slamming our pickaxe into copper, we can do plenty of that later, I guess, but for now we don't need to, but I would like to go check out a semi-safe room. Okay, these are the Shek. These are relatively safe to go near. They usually actually won't attack you. If it were the Band of Bones or the Crawl's Chosen, however, that would have been a mildly different story. They very much like to harass, attack, and just be general nuisances. Here, since our strength has gone up all the way to 12, let's go tap a little bit more iron. I guess we could do so a little bit safer distance from there, but we're relatively cool here. Look at that, 13 laboring. Being a hiver, he gains bonuses to laboring experience gains. Laboring, farming, cooking. Thievery, that's what it is. I'd forgotten about that. Alrighty, boys, let's go. Normally don't like doing this. This is extremely naked. Absolutely nothing to protect me from getting the absolute hell kicked out of me by literally anyone. 1, I am slow as hell, and 2, very visible. I'd have very little to no stealth. I'm basically just running by the seat of my pants. So he's about to eat that. It would be a good idea to pick up the second one, I guess, and get nothing else. 35 cats left. I will actually save just in case something terrible happens. Oh yes, it saves scumming. Super scummy to, you know, want to preserve your character. It's almost like this is a video game and not real life. there are several moderate to high value items up here. Specifically you, Mr. Rusty Chainmail. We have one there. And one here. To briefly alleviate the weight issue on poor Shoji because he's already going to be grabbing plenty of items. I have some tools which have some decent value. Fabric stone, plank, stone, shame. Armor plate, that actually seems decent. Ration pack, that is a very high value item that we want to actually hold on to. We won't be selling. Unlike the other ones, it has 125. It's just really nice. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. What I say is true, and I am not deceiving. The value of this item is without question, and you should certainly invest in it. Fabrics. Let's grab the cup. Should have, yes, now we have an employer. And we're at 71% again, look at that. I'm still going to tax poor Shoji here by grabbing the heaviest fragment X, which is going to be basically, they're all the same quality down here, so grabbing you, I guess, and there we go. Another 18 kilograms, 76, look at you. Let's get going. Break Shoji's back. He can take it easy, manly. Ooh, actually, that's a bad way to go. Let's head over here, actually. Those bone dogs were not something I want to have to mess with. Whoa, what tapped me? Oh, that bone dog right there. Get injured and KO'd. Can I wake up before I die? Let's find out. I'm dying. Okay, I guess. And that precisely is the reason why I usually go out of my way to armor myself before leaving Squin, but I'm kind of greedy and wanting to not wait as long. So let's do that again, but with less suckage. Less suck and fail, please. Please and thank you. We'll just have to do that whole hullabaloo all over again. It's amusing that I was trying to avoid the bone dogs before, but evidently missed one of the ones that were... Ooh. You are not ones I want to mess with. Berserker. Oh, that's one of the other factions. Lots of Shek factions out here that will absolutely kick the crap out of something as weak and pathetic as me. One of the reasons why I need to increase my sneakiness. Sneakiness. Let me speak in English. So, alright, is that everything? Just about everything? Are you at 77% now, I guess? Awesome. Alright, let's get going. This time without getting the crap kicked out of me. Let's actually save here, so if I get again screwed up, if I again screw up, I can speak English. I can warp time and space and have Shoji give it a motion. Now to Admug, make sail, get rid of these items. Someone's getting the crap kicked out of them over here. Oh, it's one of the drift. You're not having a good day. Your left arm was already messed up, and now you have 3-4 bone dogs. Kick the crap out of it. Fight the crap out of it. I'm glad I'm way the hell over here. Sucks to be you, bro. Sucks to be you. I have an entire mountain range between me and your problems, so I am thankfully going to skip-a-doo-doo-dah my way on the hell out of here. You can deal with you, and I can deal with me. Won't have to deal with each other. I'm doing a kind of cheesy tactic, because we are almost here, and I want to get to. No, I said go over here. Get that? Nah, that is a terrible thing. Well, I got a little bit of toughness, which is good. Awesome. That's a bit of a problem. Hopefully we can turn that into our favor. Well, that's going to make training on certain things way easier, and it's also going to make a few other things way more difficult. You guys straight up ate my arm and snapped it off. Well, as is Kenshi tradition, I lose my left arm first. I was hoping to keep it, but we've already done enough of the saves coming, as they say, and I'm not going to use it too much. content. Not exactly valuable. But I like knowing things, so I'm picking it up anyways. Excuse me. Alright, this is the bag setup I like to use. This one is actually going to be our weight bag, which will maintain and keep our weight, which is unfortunately only 66% at the moment, so that's a little bit of an issue. I already know about missing limbs because I've dealt with this at least once or twice before. I'm actually not going to replace with anything because it increases my toughness gains by a significant margin, because my toughness was only 3x before, and now it's 6. Cripple arm, blood loss trauma. Wow, I could gain a lot. I could do a lot of toughness training right now if I had any armor. Right now, this is like the worst time to attempt to do toughness training, specifically because I don't have any armor and I will get my limbs snapped off, and that's a little bit of a problem right now. At least I still have my right arm. Got myself a large backpack, which is the ideal. It gives me the most penalties, which is important for training. And I have this one set up to just take iron and weigh me down. That way I can just easily drop it off when I want to pull a Rock Lee and just be awesome. Whoa, what in the world is going on over here? You guys are having a bad time, and I'm going to make the best of it because you guys stole my freaking arm. So I'm going to take a leap. Oh, that's another downside right now. I literally cannot carry bodies without a left arm. Ah, I should go at least pick up a crappy one. Since I'm leaving a mess behind. And now we've turned that raw meat into dried meat, which can be used to make, we have activated this recipe, ration packs, or we can just sell it as is for just slightly more than we would normally. And every little bit counts right now, so we are doing that. Oh, look at that, 79%. Yep. Go ahead and take a look, I guess. Actually, I'm keeping the stacks of teeth because they add a little bit more weight for different space station. Actually, no. No, I'm keeping double. Yeah, double trouble. Just mumbling to myself incoherently. The insanity is settling in. Alright, so 74, that is nice. My strength gains have been halved. And I need to go get a new arm, but that's okay. This way station right here, that we discovered earlier on our way to get our ninja blade, has the arms we need. I don't think any place in the Shek Kingdom can actually sell us those. I'm still suffering from blood loss trauma according to that, so I still have the 6 times gains. I wonder how long that's going to apply for, considering that my blood is stuck to 50. I mean, I'm very happy to have 6 times instead of 4 times. It's just surprising. I was just thinking, thank goodness one skeleton having to deal with this, and then I also had to remind myself that if a skeleton had 50 hit points on their body parts, they would have to have been worn down a considerable margin, even for the weakest models, which would be the thralls. And I have made it so that we have the capability of recruiting them with the recruit prisoners mod, because I really like that mod, and it gives us the ability to bring people in and abbreviate some of the... Whoa, I'm so glad that we had got out of your way. You are a nasty little bugger. Wait, are you attacking me? Please no. Fuck off. Oh, you're attacking them. I'm actually going to verify and ensure your death remains permanent by removing your fangs. Hopefully I can get there before you wake up. There we go, dead. The only thing that can be taken from your body, because you have literally nothing else. Now, back to swim. We are now a limb-optional creature, so this opens up some pathways for us. Though this by default slows down literally everything we do, it also increases the rate at which that we gain the levels for those things that we're doing. So if we're laboring, it reduces our effectiveness there by percentage. I forgot the exact amount, but... Alright, we got to swim. Let's save real fast. There we go. And get to that mining. We got a little bit of a head start on the amount of money we had from before. Actually, let's verify as deep as we can. Pew pew pew. No. Oh, so working in the darkness is the only penalty I have for this. Okay, I could have sworn that I've been missing an arm. Maybe it's on. Just loitering outside. Thankfully, I'm not doing anything city related because you guys are all down. I'm assuming it's because of one of the sales mods I have active, because I have quite a few of the mods centered around the ability to make money in your own town by selling goods. And the more goods that you sell, the wider variety of NPCs have the potential of purchasing those items and getting money. As basic and simple as it sounds, is actually a somewhat profound thing, considering it's not a default or built-in thing set into Kenshi yet. I suppose on one hand, it's a good idea that they haven't done any major updates to Kenshi, because in doing so, they would invariably break a lot of the mods that exist. On the other hand, if they incorporated a lot of the most popular mods, like the ability to have a dark mode, I'm sure a lot of the community would be very ecstatic, very pleased, very happy. Yeah, someone's buying something over there, 30 copper. Who would it be? samurai items are the best ones that we can get out of the city, which is not bad. They're not great, but they're not bad. A lot of people scoff and frown at them, but early game, literally anything is better than nothing. These guys are just aching for a fight. They've been blue-balled for so long, which is funny to say because a lot of them are female warriors as well, so they're getting just denied on every front. You know, that's some people's thing, but clearly the Shek aren't into it. They are done with the waiting and having to wait and be told that combat isn't a thing that you're allowed to do right now. Nothing? I guess we can get at least the armor hood. It's better than nothing. 90% coverage. Only 3,000. I like it. This is going to serve us very well, especially when we go into the... Yeah, well, so I'll grab it, screw it. This is one of the better options that we can grab anyways. I wish we could grab and equip that. Neither can I afford it nor equip it. I suppose we can grab the absolute crappiest type of samurai armor and just weigh ourselves down. Which would be great for our strength training, though that is slow. And would give us a minor amount of protection. Hilariously enough, our head is way more protected than our armor, than our chest or legs are. Our one remaining arm. If only we had this beforehand. Nah. Screw it. We will just go bare until we can get a high quality minimum. I know I said something is better than nothing, but I'll be a little bit snobbish here. I want at least to see the teal. Teal or yellow, please. By the way, yellow is the next two quality layers higher. I think it's technically orange and yellow, but the color difference is so slight that my eyes can barely tell the difference. Or it could be it also. It could also be an issue with my personal screen. Start mining, Shoji. You sneak in, man. So we're just going to mindlessly slam our pickaxe into this copper node. One, to gain laboring experience, because we need to get that at least 280. That'll make things easier from when we are doing our small town that we have in an idea stage. I'm planning on actually putting it shockingly close to the foglands and to where the cannibals are, for the sole purpose, and intentional purpose, having as many of them pissed off at me as possible and attack me. The other option is to have them give me the trifecta attack vectors from the Black Dragon Ninjas, the Dust Bandits, and the Holy Nation, because they will absolutely attack me on sight when they find out that I'm here, and they come to try and share Prayer Day. And needless to say, they do not like Fogmen, let alone, or I should say, Hivers, let alone Fogmen. They find me an extra super abomination, which is fair because most people do. Generally speaking, Fogmen are the least pleasant variety of Hivers to be around, and that's because they have a tendency of trying to eat you alive, and not in any sort of fun way. This is the painful, visceral, agonizingly slow. I would sort of more describe it as Impala being eaten alive on National Geographic. It's really terrible. Especially since they go for your limbs first, which I suppose makes you bleed out really fast, but it also just makes it so it hurts a lot. The screams over there are really terrible. Like, you can see some dialogue fill up this, and since we're near town, there's a lot of people that are trying to purchase things they can't afford. If we go over to the Foglands, where Shoji canonically came from, you are going to hear an overwhelming amount of screaming. Screaming and begging and pleading for very good reason. Oh, you are having a bad day over here. Goodness, I wish I had an arm to pick you up. Best I can heal you a little bit, but I don't really have all the materials to do that right now. Sucks to be you. Who's causing trouble over here? Goodness. Oh, the Hungry Bandits. What a terrible day to be you. I'm over here making an honest coin. I'm honestly ripping ore out of the ground. Sneaky, but I'm still doing it. Well, these people are just literally trying to rob people blind. I'm earning my keep legitimately. Mining non-stop through the day and night without pause or rest. Shoji has just been barreling through all the way up to 24 in laboring. He is a machine. Well, not quite. We'll be recruiting some machines here soon. And the stream has been going for an hour. When I edit this later, it's going to be amazing, so I'll just cut this down way shorter. You are still getting the crap kicked out of you up here. What in the world? You are just gonna die. You know what? Alright, stop sneaking. That's too slow. I'm coming up here to snag some of your meat and your leather. Maybe some of your weapons too, because there's no sense in wasting that. Can I get up there before any of you wake up and attack me? Because that's actually a danger. I can, nice. You want to do NPC training? It's always nice to also give the NPC the crappiest cutting damage equipment that I can find, which again is usually a rusted junk ninja blade. Something you can either purchase occasionally, very rarely honestly, in the hub or rebel base over here, or it's a near guaranteed drop. Well, it's 50% drop from the fog princes that roam abundantly in this area. So you can either do very dangerous, but guaranteed equipment gathering, or you can do safer, boring, and much more slow stuff by waiting for it to proc, essentially as a drop. Elsewhere. Ooh. Who are you? You are definitely gonna die very soon. Not even I could save you. I'm sorry, I'm going to need to die. I'm also going to steal your clothes, because holy crap, you have a blue one again. That is shocking. I also look less like a homeless person. Alright, let's head back into town, sell some of this stuff. How close to the city can I get this? Right there. I like how he automatically just pulls back in. How far away can I do this? Pretty decent. Sold for 38. A few more cats, but every cat counts. It also makes it so the NPCs can resell the item almost immediately, which helps their internal economy. Nonsense, bulls. Let's just sell it in the cook form. The only time it's not a good idea to cook it immediately is if you try to make meat wraps, which is one of the best foods aside from the ration pack, which is something you normally cannot craft because In base Kenshi, it's just not something to let you do. Move, move, Shoji. Goodness gracious, what are you afraid of the woman? She's not gonna crush you with those beautiful thighs of hers. But yet, anyways, you have to ask her nicely and buy her a lot of heavy weapons. No, not flowers. These are shek. You have to find the heaviest weapon you can possibly find, swing it in front of her, and then she might actually act a little girly, which is a very rare thing to see a shek woman do, but if you manage to do it, you basically won. Revel in thine victory because, yeah, let's go pantsless again. I wonder, would this have actually saved me? Head, right arm? No, it wouldn't. It doesn't cover the left arm at all, evidently. Head, chest, and right arm. Not even the stomach. I forgot how terrible this is. Back to labor. Labor and toil. Nothing but. I wonder. Can I start some shit? From this. Oh, you don't even notice me yet. How long will it take? I need to do this while you are still technically in town, so I can have the guards help me before I die, because I will definitely get the crap kicked out of me. You still don't even notice me. What in the world? Good sir, you're about to have a terrible day. Not only are you getting robbed by a fogman, but he's gonna laugh and point at you as you get the crap kicked out of you after he came at you like he was gonna murder you. When in reality, he was just baiting you into defending yourself because he needs your stuff. And he's not quite strong enough to kill you himself. This is a tactic by weaker creatures and nefarious creatures. And I'm a nefarious weak creature. In a very, very unforgiving world. Yeah, that blue version of the rag shirt is shockingly rare to come across. Standard quality, I should say. That is the proper terminology. What do you look at that? Can I snag you? Do not think I can. 45. You know what? I can just drop you in here and steal you there, and then I'll grab you pieces later. You'll be one of the few people with pants. Everyone else had their stuff stolen, so this is a great, wonderful thing for me. Welcome to Kenshi. Everyone gets the crap kicked out of them. And soon I will be getting the crap kicked out of me as well, intentionally. I'll be going to the biggest groups of those starving bandits you've ever seen, and calling them all sorts of names, provoking their rage. And oh, you are broke already? What in the world? I have to buy another meat rack so soon. High quality material, please. I require your best items. The plate jacket would actually be a pretty good investment, all things considered. And I can afford it. You know, I can just go with that instead of the super heavy option for now. And then save up for the super heavy option later. No, I'm going to save up for the super heavy option. Need to get that training in. All of it. Oh yeah, I was going to go loot the guy in jail, but I don't really care right now. Nope, outside go my nut cover. Money. And skill. Usually the best idea to do at night, but you know, so things. Also, impressive as hell that he's managing to swing that pickaxe with one arm like that. It's just the animation, honestly, but still, when it is one-armed, it's cool. So the threshold we're basically looking for is about 20,000 cats, though we've already circumvented some of the cost by purchasing this. It's actually going to be slightly less because the 20,000 also takes into account the cost of boots, which we don't have to worry about. And the shirt is going to be cheaper when we do find it, but we're only going to be able to find it at Thieves Guild, essentially. Or we can go all the way to Armor King, which may not be a bad idea, but that will jack prices up significantly. I personally would prefer to actually make the higher end armor myself, so Shoji's stuff that he wears can also be said to be made by the Eastern Hive, which is the faction that he's going to be making once he's more than just himself. Because once he can prove to himself and everyone else that he is powerful enough to exist and survive in this world, somewhat at least, on his own, he's going to start recruiting more hivers, specifically hivers. Just a whole lot of them, including one very special one. The very first hiver he's going to recruit is one that the majority of the community knows and loves, and his name is Beep. And he's actually in the very center of these foglands, in a little place called Mongrel, nonetheless. place filled with alleged, there's no proof, but alleged criminals that are running away to escape things, and run away so far they run themselves into an area where they can't run out of because they're surrounded by flesh-eating creatures that want to consume you while you're alive and screaming. I mean, sometimes they kill you beforehand, but not very often. And you guys are just ready for stuff to happen. Blades out. Prepared to go. And because you actually picked up one of those bandits, you have a secondary weapon. That's actually good for the NPCs to have a secondary weapon like that, because they can actually set themselves up to defend easier if they get one of their arms broken. It's not very often that a Shek actually gets screwed up in that, to that degree, but when they do, having a weapon to switch to instead of just being reliant on their very poor martial arts is always nice. Because invariably the NPCs have very poor martial arts. While I am mining, I'm also checking. Okay. Alright, things are running smoothly on both Rumble and YouTube, which is where I'm streaming this to. Just wanted to check while Shoji is busy swinging his pickaxe and things are a little bit on the more boring side. Getting all this laboring experience grinding out of the way now will make things easier later. A lot of people in the community I've seen have a distinct hatred for this part of the game. I don't know why, considering that it's just something required eventually anyways. Your characters are eventually going to need to learn how to get laboring done. Though I guess if you can go high enough, you can have the machines automate themselves to the point where you don't need anyone operating them. I don't like that because I think there's a calculation to the character's personal labor is calculated into the amount of speed the machine is allowed to have. So actually not having the highest level machines is, in my opinion, the best. It also helps moderate the machine's use, input and output, where if you try to automate that, it's not as, it has a tendency of backing up and or having overflow issues. Maybe I'm just trying to set the order wrong. That's what I found. Oh, he's not even sneaking. No, I kind of forgot to do that. Well, that's poor planning on my part. At least you can demonstrably see the increase of the copper yield each and every night that he mines, because he's becoming more and more effective at it every single time. Alright. 20 chunks is pretty nice. This will yield us a nice pretty penny. 113 market. Oh, it's normally 180, and here it sells. Never realized that. So here is an exceptionally good location to sell your stuff at anyways. And now I have caused a little shit. Provoking these guys to get the crap kicked out of them by an person game. Because I'm a terrible player. And these are wild animals, so I don't care. I'm going to skin your entire family right in front of you, and there's nothing you can do about it because I'm a psychopath. I mean, I'm a hiver that's just hungry and trying to make his way in the world. I wonder how long it'll fly for. Will people actually buy the story? I surely hope so, because if not, then I'm kind of screwed. Put you there, put you there. Now you're organized. To my liking, even though it's only going to be temporary. Like I said, brief and temporary. Sell your wares, Shoji. Let's see about the stock today, because I technically have enough to buy a chest piece. I believe so. It's 15 for a chest piece, or is it 13? It's around there anyways. I should have enough to buy it, though, if they have one in stock. Which you do not. I am upset. You have the leg plates, at least. That's cool. I am upset. High-grade armored rag skirt. You know, I could get that from a dust boss. I don't actually have to purchase it from you. The samurai leg plates I could technically get from the Dust King on a rare chance. But I'm going to purchase from here because I want to promote the economy. And I'm going to be on the lookout for a samurai armor. Become the greatest little ninja you've ever seen. It'll be so adorable. It'll just say ah and ooh, and then I'll slice you in two. Glorious. That's the maximum distance, and I want to keep that distance. You know, I can stay as close to Squint as possible. While we just literally stand here and make money. It's not much money, but again, every little bit counts. And being as broke as I am, Shoji wants to make use of it. Rapid clicking on it always helps. There's no downside, none at all. Seven extra cats per second. Making 7 cats per 5 minutes, I guess. That's not a very good ratio. Okay. It's just better to sell them raw, especially for time, but I've already invested this much. It's the sunk cost fallacy, I think. Whatever. And I'm even aware of the fallacy. Ooh, are you guys trying to walk in the city unprovoked? Or just because? I should kick the crap out of you. See. Gate guards. Something, something, something. Darcy. Alright, so Shoji at least has... No! Why did you do that? Oh, that was an idiotic move. Why are you closed? It is 14:39. Alright, so how long am I in prison for? This is fucking amazing. A 1,000 cat, for 20 hours. Well, at least I can get my lockpicking up. I was planning on doing this a completely different way, but I guess we can do it here and now. And the upside is my missing arm makes it so that things are way easier too, so... Yay, I guess. Small fucking upsides. The massive downside, of course, is that all the time... Actually, so we found the one, level 22. 49. I was trying to decide which one I should shift into, but I think I'm going to wait until my, hello cat. Until my lockpicking is a little bit higher. Going to try and turn this to my advantage. I'm still confused as to why this shop is still closed and private. What in the world? That normally isn't a thing. Oh, I'm so frustrated. Okay, though, we will turn this into a lockpicking montage. Yeah, my robotics, quote unquote, reduces my lockpicking by 33%. Which in turn increases the skill gain by, I think, some amount. Alright, I'm going to be bold, and oh my goodness, I have such a low chance of doing it. But the level 49 prison here is pretty low. Level 4. What? Are you serious? How did I do that already? 2% chance, and I did it almost in 3 chances, or 3 tries. What was that? Or 36. Is this really the highest level prison? 37. 43. Oh, he's dead. Like, straight up dead. They brought a dead body into prison. That is hilarious. 29, 47. 49. Yeah, this is literally the highest level one in the entire prison. Level 40 is the closest. 36. 37. So yeah, this is the most efficient training location I've got. I just realized my mic had disconnected at some point, and most of what I said had gone entirely out the window. As it is, the extremely alluring chest piece that they have is outside of my price range, and by the time I get enough money for it, it's probably going to be out of the stock. So I'm going to keep going until we have the rare one, and the off chance we have that. But we're also going to save and set up the stream for later. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. There we go. Save.